Hey guys, Zomfox here, and today we have some pretty big news for the channel, and that is the fact that I've officially partnered and joined with AFN, the Alternative Football Network. This is a pretty big deal for the channel. I mean, this is a pretty big partnership. I would assume most of you have at least heard of AFN, know something about them. For those of you who don't, AFN is one of the largest overall networks and sites that covers spring football and other alt leagues as well. But purely speaking of spring football, they are a big deal. There's a lot of other channels that they are partnered with, right? Viking Wax Press, obviously a lot of you know him from being around the channel. Analyze and Educate, Horns Forward Podcast, and a bunch of other places as well as their own insider podcast. It's a pretty big, overall deal. And the AFN network themselves are a really big one, obviously, and to join them is a, really cool experience. Now, this is one of those that in terms of how it ended up happening, it's mainly due to the fact of just kind of realizing a lot of people in AFN I already have some sort of relationship with. Mike Bell is now kind of loosely with them, but obviously know him on Twitter. As I mentioned, Royce, Vikings Wax Press, obviously Michigan Panthers Pride. Know a lot of them. DeMarcus has been around a lot of the streams, XL Mike G. Just overall, essentially knowing a lot of people with AFN. And eventually, when I was on Michigan Panthers Pride's podcast talking about the Panthers, I was like, you know what? Let me just see how this whole thing is, and, some talking later, some phone calls, and now part of them. Now, in terms of what this means for the channel, in terms of overall content, technically nothing. I'm still going to create what I want to create. The best part about this overall partnership / joining, whatever you want to call it, is the fact that I still get to essentially be an independent content creator, just not independent. You know what I mean? I get to do what I want, when I want, how I want, but now I have more connections with overall people, just obviously that are partnered with AFN, as well as just overall insider connections and knowing a lot of stuff because of being, more integrated with these other creators, insiders, social media people. Again, there's a lot of people connected to AFN, and it's a pretty big deal to be a part of that. And obviously, it's a two-way street, as for a lot of the other YouTube channels partnered with AFN, aside from a couple of them, a lot of them are on the smaller side compared to my channel. So I get to help those other channels out and help them grow by being a part of AFN. And then on the social media aspect, it obviously helps me a lot as I get to grow on there. So it's a symbiotic relationship in that front, as well as just overall being a good thing. The Battle for Ohio video that came out just a few days ago, that was one that officially wasn't me being part of AFN. Technically, that was just a collaboration between me and XL Mike G and AFN, if you want to be technical about it. But obviously, that was the first real step of that overall collaboration, and a lot of things like that can be seen in the future. I'm definitely going to be able to appear on other, channels that are partnered with AFN in the future. A lot of this is still very early on. I mean, this is something that officially was really about 2 days ago on, Thursday is when it became really official. And then now it's public official, I guess the best way to put it. Again, you can see that I'm on the AFN site. Obviously, I have the AFN link in the description of here and on the actual channel description, all that. And it's a big reason why I am now on Facebook. If you saw that community post a couple days ago, I'm now on Facebook. And the main reason for that was because of me joining AFN. XL Mike G is really big on Facebook in a ton of groups, and basically said that, hey, if I join Facebook, he can kind of just jumpstart that and help grow the channel from that front. Which is a big deal because a lot of people on Facebook don't follow me on here or know about me, and now it's a whole nother reach. And I know that because I've already seen some of the analytics from the posts that I've posted on Facebook that, thanks to him sharing, have done really well on Facebook and have obviously helped the videos. The Battle for Ohio video would have done really well just normally, but as I've already looked at the overall analytics, but it's done even better because of Facebook and sharing. And previous videos and past videos I've made, I can now post on Facebook, and videos like past expansion videos, like tier list videos, I can now post those on there and get those extra views and overall engagement on past videos, which is obviously a pretty big deal for YouTube's sake. So it's a really cool relationship to have on that front there. And that's a big thing about this, is it's one of those things where it is a huge step for the channel and for me. Now, I also will be potentially writing some stuff for AFN. That's not a guarantee, and if it is, if I am, it's going to be kind of like, UFL Update with PFN, where you wrote, a couple articles here and there. It'll kind of be like that. If I write, it'll be once in a while, once I have free time. It won't be like a ton of stuff, just to have articles out there that I wrote, which, again, if that happens, obviously I'll post about that. But in terms of this, again, this is just a really cool thing to have happen. Again, a lot of it was just certain people you build relationships with, you kind of realize they're all part of the same group, right? When a lot of people you talk to on, Twitter are, well, guys who are part of AFN, you realize that it's like, it's kind of a good thing. And like I said, the big thing for me was being able to still be independent what I create. And they're letting me do that, which of course is a big deal. It's just now that I get to essentially have another outlet to spread my content around and get a lot more people that can help me out, getting me info, being on the channel. Like, obviously, Royce was on the live stream we did when the whole James Larson rumor came out, right? So stuff like that can be better. I can now go on other channels even more frequently and overall, spread that kind of sphere of influence, I guess you can say, as well as the fact that I can now help them out on the YouTube side of things with other channels that are less, subscribers, views, and all that than mine. I can now help those channels out as well. And so it's a really great thing to have this whole thing happen. And it's just really cool thing about it. The fact that just, a couple years ago, a few years ago at this point, just started this channel out, uploaded here or there, tried to do a couple uploads a week, then started series that I've now been doing for, 4 years now, like the Power Rankings, Week Review, Game Picks, and all that. And now I'm officially part of AFN. So, pretty big move for the channel. As I said, this isn't really going to change anything with the channel itself. This is more so around. The only real channel difference you're going to see is, again, the description is now going to have another link, which is obviously where to find me, AFN, and I'm going to have that in the About section, plus Facebook, I guess, which, again, isn't really changing much. And that you'll see the AFN logo on thumbnails, which a lot of that is just for, I guess, intellectual property stuff. Not property, but if you know Facebook, you know why that's a big deal to have a logo somewhere on there. So that's a big part, even though my stuff is pretty easy to find, considering thumbnails are not the most, they're not the most extravagant thumbnails out there, and usually that would make it very easy to copy it, but in my sense, it's like, a Zomfox thumbnail when you see it. Just instead of it being a good thing, it's kind of a bad thing, which I take full responsibility for, but at this point, it is what it is. Though, like I said, I am still proud of the Power Rankings thumbnail. That one I actually do think is solid one. The rest, you know what I mean. But again, it's a pretty big deal to have this partnership. Sorry if you hear something in the background, stuff going on outside, but it's a pretty big deal to be a part of this and to be part of AFN. Thank you, Matthew, Tyler, and XL Mike G for, obviously having me join and making the process for me to join really easy. You don't want to obviously go in full detail, but really simple process. Talked a lot of ball with them. Yes, Matthew Tyler is alive. I know that he's talking about stuff that he has talked about. He hasn't, been super out there the past few months. He said he'll have something out there soon. At least he should. So he's still doing, he's still alive, is the best way to put it. And this is a pretty big deal. Now, in terms of the exact near future, we'll see things. There's some things I might be a part of, some that I might have to wait a few. Like, there's certain videos being made that I might join in, some that I might not. A lot of things could happen. But at this exact moment, I'm now partnered with AFN. Pretty big deal, and I'm really excited about this, and I hope you all are as well. As obviously, if the channel grows, that's just hugely beneficial. Makes it to where, it just, you want the channel to keep growing, and this is something that's going to help that out, especially on the social media side, which is the side that I definitely need the most help on. I've never been the most consistent guy on like a platform like Instagram. Twitter, I've actually done pretty well now. I pretty much post every single video on there, and if I do that with Facebook, that'll be nice. So again, helping me grow on those platforms is huge. This could potentially get me, more info with players and all that, which I guess you can be looking for something like that in the future. But again, like the interview series, maybe this leads to some, even cooler interviews in the future, but we'll see. Overall, though, I think that'll pretty much do it in talking about this whole, situation, joining AFN. Again, it's a really cool thing to be a part of. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on all this. Go check out all the other guys that are partnered with them or, loosely connected to them. And I hope you all think about, becoming a community member as well. 99 cents a month. You get an exclusive monthly video. There was one already this month, but this month there's going to be 2 exclusive videos. Aside from that, it's usually just one. Team emojis, other benefits. Subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Like the video. And as always, guys, make sure to have a great night.